Hello.
Hello. Facecam's a little off center. Hello. Serena, can you look at the camera? Halfway.
No,
Halfway looking at the camera.
little bit.
I mean, hello. So what's happening right now is the critique stream where we critique your art and your writing. It's a Patreon tier, so if you want anything critiqued, you gotta join the Patreon tier. I think it's $8 a month. Serena, no.
No.
Ursula, you need to get a pet here.
Okay.
You're in charge because I'm gonna be reviewing Cypresses. That's why we have the. Yeah, Fado, you just gotta entertain chat. Because I don't really have any writing to show on screen, and if we're doing the pet cam, I don't have a webcam. This will go a lot better once I have my VTuber. Look at his little gooey eyes. But Cypress is present, and I want to talk about what Cypress submitted. So, yeah. Everyone ready for that? Because Cypress submitted some writing to us. It's a novel, and I've read some of it so far. We're on to the fourth draft, it would appear. Occupy our short attention span, like the Minecraft Reddit stories. Okay. That's what the doggy is for. So I remember this. I do remember you submitting this before. I don't remember if it was chapter 5 then or if stuff is shuffled, but I do remember this, and I remember telling you to switch up the order of things, and I do like how it plays out now because it does build off of itself. Um, I I can follow the overarching narrative, which is good. Um, I like the first scene. It's getting stronger in its POV. You can definitely tell. Oh no, my voice is going.
No.
Ursula's giving me her cold. I can feel it, and it's the worst.
I'm sorry.
Um, but yeah, you can definitely tell that first scene is Aurelia's perspective. It was starting to feel like the second scene was Jira's, but then it kind of got a little muddy and it was hard to follow. Are you guys accepting submissions? Um, if you have an art submission and you become a Patreon tier critique person right now, I think Ursula can let it slide. Ursula's chasing down cats right now. She's a cat wrangler. Uh-oh. Fado, no. Fado, no. Yeah, like anyways, sorry. Back to Cypress's story. Um yeah. It yeah, it was feeling strong in the beginning, but then it kind of got muddy. Um I think what it is in the first scene, you were very focused on Aurelia and Aurelia's space in the story. And you definitely put like her name first, which helps. And it was to do with like what's going on with her. Whereas in the later parts, it felt like there was like head hopping. Um, going into like different perspectives, and I think it's just because Jira's perspective is just like a little weaker. I don't really feel their relation to the scene as much. Whereas in the first scene, we're very much dealing with like Aurelia and the aftermath of what happened. Um, so yeah, yeah, POV is something I'm still figuring out. Yeah, I think Still, what the major thing is that there needs to be a lot more description. It still feels very much like reading a comic book where we have lots of descriptions about how people are feeling, but not describing them feeling things. So, like, we have some things like a heart pounding. Sorry. Just put him away. Ursula's just wrangling Lear in the background. He's being ridiculous. Sorry. So we have a lot of like descriptions of like there was one in particular where where the magic was used where I would like to see it more. Because there's a lot of things happening where I don't really feel like part of it because it's like a world I don't understand, and like having some of these things be described using like the five senses would be good to see. It feels like most of the time we're either being told things. There's a lot of passive voice. There's a lot of this happened, they felt this, they were thinking this, and not a lot of like description. Because, yeah, Sabria was about to steer the conversation in a different direction when Felicity interjected. Like, that's like a very much like a telling type thing. Like, I want to see that play out. And I find that we're in like a very white space, like a blank, empty room where like I don't really understand the restaurant. I don't even really know what type of restaurant it is. It's a lot of stuff like that. And I find, yeah, when you do describe things, you tend to lean on like cliches because it's like because some of it makes sense. There's going to be like a certain amount of just like cliche description, and like by that I mean like heart pounding, to be scared. Like that's a obvious one, or like eyes glazing over. Like these are things that happen, and they're kind of like it's fine to have those in your story, but they don't, though they are a type of describing, like they don't really engage as a reader as much because they're such cliche terms for these feelings. It's very similar to still telling when it is being described like that. Yeah, like the princess practically bouncing in her seat. Like I want to see more of your own creativity in how you are like forming these sentences, right? And like the metaphors and descriptions that you're using, like literary devices, because you're very talented with like lore and art and all that, and I think you can bring it into your paragraphs and description as well. Because there's like such like cool details, like the waiter slowly levitating down their meals to them. Like these are like cool conceptually, and I just really want to see it in the writing, and I really want more character brought into the writing. I know I keep talking about this every time I read it. It's definitely very difficult. um, yeah, wrinkling their nose in disagreement. I'm just like scrolling through. And yeah, I find like when I was reading the scenes, I think the overall structure is good. And I think scene by scene, the arc of the scene, I still like they still felt short and they still kind of feel flat. And I think that is coming from this description problem where these scenes are all based on character, right? Like they're all very character focused. Um, and in order to get them to nicely like lead into each other and in order to make them have impact, we really need to be able to feel what the characters are feeling and understand the emotional arcs of each scene. And because that's falling flat, I find that the scenes are still kind of flat. They're still very like outliney feeling, and it's just like the meat of the scene that totally needs to be like filled out. So like more descriptions of them, the characters themselves, because like I don't fully know what the characters look like. This like in this like version of it was the first time I'm really realizing, or maybe I'm not, like maybe I just forgot this, that she has like ears and a tail. Like there's so much to do with that there too. And one section stuck out to me where she was like looking at like her tattered dress, and that would have been like a perfect time to like describe some things to do with like the transformation, and even like her clothing and stuff. Like when the character is like focusing in on these details, like that's a perfect time to bring that. And then we could further layer that with like, okay, this is like a description of how she's looking, and this description, it's like in her POV, and it's going to bring out some of like her anxieties and her thoughts about what has happened. you know there's so much like that description does other than just describing. It's also going to bring in that emotion, right? If that makes sense. um and like another like side thing was like, if they are like having thoughts and it is in their POV, which makes sense, that's a way to get rid of like head hopping. We could also just like have them think thoughts. You can do like the having a thought, the what is it, the writing equivalent of like thought bubbles, where they do the italicized text. Like that could help too. There was a bit in the chapter before, but I can add more to send it home, as well as throughout the rest of the chapter. Yeah, like that makes sense. Like description needs to like come throughout it. Like if this was stuff that was described before, that's fine. But like the ears are going to continue to do things. The tail's going to continue to do things. Reflecting on stuff is like going to continue to like build the impact of things. And obviously we're going to like new settings. We're walking down like this big like vibrant street. Like I want to feel like I'm there. I want to see what's going on. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that you need to like continue to practice, if you don't, and do continue doing like more descriptive scenes like outside of your writing as well, where you just sit a character in a room and describe it from that character's POV, and then try another character, describe the same room, and try to get across the different characters. Like if you have friends who know all of these characters, you could write a few scenes where you don't have the character like actually like like speaking. Don't say which character it is. Give them those scenes and like see if they can like tell which character is which based on just like the same descriptions. I used to do that all the time. It's very helpful. As well as trying to get like the 5 senses in. Because if she's a dog too, I bet like smell would be like a big sense you can pull on. And if you're in a place where there's curry and stuff, like there's going to be smells, right? Smells for a doggy to smell. So yeah, you gotta bring in all 5 senses. Try to hit those. And hearing too. That's another way to make her more doggy. really pull on those two senses. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I wish you the best of luck, and I will put it over to Ursula. I blabbed long enough.
I blabbed. Hello. I had to stand behind the camera so Fado would look at the camera. Oh, no, 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 no. Stay there, buddy. It's like, why? I'm scared. Hello. Hello, hello. Alright. So, oh, the lips.
Flicking your hand, chat.
Yeah, if you put your hand in chat, you're petting Fado and getting bleps. You made it to a stream. Hello, Chloe.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Chloe in a while.
Right? A rare Chloe pull.
Very Chloe on adventure.
Okay, so we have two people. We have Chloe and we have Nymzey for the critiques. And I see you're both here, so you guys have to fist fight to see who goes first. Oh, Veda! He got tossed! Arnar! Goodbye, baby. Maybe an animal will show up. I don't know. They're all here. I don't mind either. Oh man, you're both fine? Okay, we'll go with Nymzey just because I have your artwork open. How about that? Since you're both cool with it. Okay, Nymzey. So you said you want your designs to be critiqued based on how their designs fit their personalities, hobbies, and combat styles. And if you think the art style would fit a comic or visual novel, both may critique. I think it'll just be me, but if you want bones, let me know. Okay. Okay, I'll do a vibe check before I read through your document. Notebook up. You have your pencil, so you can take your notes. Okay, so I think all the names are in the doc. So maybe if I just grab the names so I know who's who. Let me see. Okay, so this is Malby. Okay. So the vibes I get from Malby is that he seems tough. Okay, so like we've got some like spiky shapes, lots of like these kind of diamond leafy shapes throughout. We've got lots of pointy triangular shapes, lots of spikiness. He looking mean. He looks very bulky and strong. Definitely the red mixed with like the darker colors, like the grays and the I guess that's like a really dark maroon. But yeah, it gives like villain vibes. He's either a villain or he's like a really tough, mean character who's maybe working for the good team. Though I guess not every story has like a good and bad team, but he feels very antagonistic to me. Whether that's role-wise or personality or both. I'm getting military vibes from the cut of the jacket, as well as like the arm guards, the knee guards, the shoulder, what are they called? Pauldrons? As well as like the badge. I do like the touch. It looks like he's ripped the sleeves off of this uniform. I think that makes him seem like a really rugged character. Hold on, pardon me. I have to cough. Apologies. Yeah, it's a nice touch having the sleeves ripped from what otherwise feels like a like military kind of style uniform. So that's the read I get from him. Then we have Fiona. I apologize. Fiona, the vibe I get is she feels like a softie. Again, I'm getting like military. I think it's like there seems to be a through line of like this little belt shape. Also, she's wearing like a little harness thing. It feels very like pilot-y. Kind of like a jumpsuit, if that makes sense. And then she obviously has the wings and the tail, which makes me think like a flyer, you know? But yeah, she just has very like soft vibes just from her face. She has a very like serene, gentle expression. As well as the coloring, like using the blues is very like soothing. And I also like how between them, it looks like there's some like vertical lines that go through kind of pieces of their uniforms where like it's different, like the outfits are different, but I like how there's like a little through line on the outfits that way. But yeah, she just got lots of rounded shapes. She seems very gentle and sweet. Yeah, that's the vibe I get. She feels like a hero character or like a supporting kind of hero character. And then we have, is it Amachi? Yes, Amachi. Okay, so Amachi, what's the vibe I get? Think British A? Oh, British Air Force? Wait. Oh, do you mean how I'm pronouncing the name? Like aw? Instead of Amachi, it's like Amachi? Okay, okay. It's like a softer A. It's not my my little North America A. Amachi. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Amachi, okay, I glanced at the document, so I know it's I know he's a male character, but when I first looked at this, I read Amachi as a female character or a very femme presenting character. I think it's just the fact that he's wearing a skirt on his uniform, or clothing, I guess, and just the longer hair, but I don't think that should stop you from having a male character who wears clothing like this. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. Or has a hairstyle like this. But okay, what are the vibes I get? Oh, Japanese inspired. Okay, that makes sense. With like, yeah, the very flowy, the royal skirts. Yeah, I get you. Oh, pardon me. I definitely can see it with the like the sash at the middle. That does feel very like a lot of Japanese clothing. And I do like how you implied, like, with the implied like the billowing sleeves. But anyways, the vibe I get from him is he looks really friendly and cheerful. He looks energetic, but like very nice, you know? He looks like he would help everyone that he met. He looks like a sweetie, but he looks very like cheerful and energetic as well. Yeah. So, those are the vibes. Now I can read through your little document for the context. Okay, so Amachi is our main character. A sun-blessed noble son. A naive optimist. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Oh, he's saving the world from an ancient mad god. That's so cool. Fantasy with elemental magic to assist in combat. Okay, and then there's industrialization going on. Okay, industrial solar punk aesthetic mixed with classic fantasy. That's so cool. I love that. Help everyone that he met. Literally a main character trait. Yes. Okay, so all the characters meet through Starscape Alliance, a non-profit guild focused on aiding people. That's adorable. I love that. Okay, so so they do have kind of not uniforms, but like outfits that are for like exploration and combat. Because they do rescue work. Oh my god, I love a rescue team in a fantasy setting. Okay. Okay. I'm just reading through the character bios. Yeah, so I get, okay, so for Amachi, he's like a social butterfly. He's naive, optimistic, very sympathetic. It can be a bit high and mighty. Doesn't ask for help, can be self-conscious. Awesome, okay. And he doesn't like to fight. And then, okay, awesome. So I'll start with Amachi then. So I think you showed the personality really well, and I think it really shows through like the expression and the pose, just with like his chest puffed out. He's got this very like open stance, these very like a bright open expression. He just feels like a very friendly character. It's also helped by the color scheme you've chosen, where you're using some very warm colors with like the, the gold and yellow for his skin. Then these like nice warm pinks and reds, and then the green is a really nice contrast color to the reds, and it complements the gold really well. Yeah, he just looks so warm. He looks so warm and friendly. Oh, you also are wondering about the combat stuff. He definitely gives mage vibes. When I first saw him, I thought like, okay, this is like a spellcaster. It says for combat, close range. Okay, aura-powered fist, so some magic. Nimble and fast. Prefers to hit and run. He does like a little sucker punch and then gets out of there. Yeah, I like that. He does seem very energetic. I think the mage vibes comes from him wearing like a robe, honestly. Close range magic spells. Yeah. Oh, we got Magica. And Fatal. Adorable. It doesn't help him in combat, the robes. That's true. That is hard to move in when you're in combat. He wears it because of his heritage. Got it. Manika's face is normal again. She's all healed up after her surgery. Her cheeks do look a little more hollow, just because, like, they removed some molars, right? But it's, like, it's not really noticeable. But she doesn't have a puffed up face anymore, so that's good. Sorry for the digression. Let me think. I love his little feet. They're so cute. Sorry. Yeah, so for his overall shapes and everything, I do like the... So with his hair, we've got, like... I guess it's with a lot of his shapes. You're doing a good job with having these, like, flared out kind of fan shapes. You see it in the hair, in the ears, even in the horn, though it's, like, elongated more. We've got it in the robes. We've got it in the, what do you call that? Like, scarves? The sleeve portions. There's a bit of, like, a double fan going on with the wrap on his middle. I think you could lean into it a little more with his tail. Well, I really like the shape, honestly. It's really cute. It does look very fluffy. Maybe lean into that fan shape, if possible. I think that would help make the tail a little bit stronger into the design. And anywhere you can fit that in a little bit more, like maybe flaring out the shoulder straps, or, I don't know, a design on the front of the shirt, whatever you think would fit the character. I think that would work really well. And I think it fits. I'm assuming this mark on his arm has to do with his family, because you said he's like sun blessed or something like that. I'm assuming it has something to do with like family or lineage or powers or something. It does fit that kind of fan motif. It's because he uses magic. Yeah. They can appear on magical oriented creatures. Got it. But it fits that fan motif well. Shapes in general. Oh, interesting. Not just that shape. Yeah, I think if you lean into the fan shape a little bit more, I think that will help. But yeah, overall, I think he's got some nice, like, really rounded shapes that make him feel very friendly, especially, like, in his face. Oh, pardon me, I'm so sorry. Oh, God. The contrast works really well through the character. I like how the different parts of like the outfit and the character's body, they're all very, each piece has good contrast with the pieces around it. I think you're doing a great job with that. Did you have any questions about this one before I move on to the next one? I'm gonna grab a glass of water because my throat is dying. Apologies. But yeah, let me know. I'll move on to the next one. Don't think you have any questions? Very thorough? Oh, awesome. Okay, so let me read up on Fiona. Oh, right, the combat. Before I read it. I'm not sure, but I feel like it would be long range. I'm imagining, like, she's doing flying stuff where, you know, like, in a plane, in a combat situation, they'd probably have, like, mounted guns. I'm thinking, like, you know, like, early planes in, like, World War I that were having, like, dogfights in the sky. Did they have mounted guns? Or did they just, like, hit each other? I feel like they had guns. Anyways, that's the vibe, but, like, she's not in a plane, so maybe she holds, like, a rifle or something. Or bow and arrow, but I think you said it's more, like, solar punk, so a bit more high-tech than that. Okay, combat long-range rifle and handguns, powered by her magic, and she prefers a sniper position. Cool. Okay, personality strength. She can play devil's advocate. She's diligent, a good listener. But she feels directionless. She gives up easily and sees the worst in herself and others. Oh no. Gotcha. So she feels a little lost, but she's very... It seems like she's very perceptive and she works hard. But doubts herself. And others. Maybe a bit of a pessimist. I think that's a good foil for Amachi. If he's this very, like, naive, optimistic, and she's more, like, pessimistic and, like, sees the worst in people, I think that's a fun play between the characters. They're good foils for each other. And okay, so for her design, I really like the wing shapes, and I like the kind of half circles that have been cut out of them. You've got lots of good, like, triangles and then these, like, half circles. I love how for her hair it does look like more wings, like for the shape of her bangs, for, like, the little pieces here. That's really, really nice. It really suits the motif of the wings. I like how there's, like, in the bust of her outfit, I like how it feels like another pair of wings. And then it feels similar with, like, the sleeves as well. Her hair is feathers. She's based on a hummingbird. Oh, I love that. Oh, hello, new watchers. Welcome. I also like how, to go along with the wings, I do like how with her, like, the harness she's wearing, having it, like, on both legs instead of being asymmetrical, and same with the arms, it does help just, like, echo the vibe of the two wings. I like how the gold goes through it. I like how it appears on the harness, on her shoes, in her hair, and it also kind of matches the color of her skin. She's got, like, a golden undertone. I think I'm not sure. I feel like the gold bead on her feather, or her hair feathers, it gets a little lost. I wonder, maybe not, like I think you could keep that, but I wonder if there needs to be like a little gold piece kind of like further up in her hair to make it a bit more visible, or jewelry like on her, like around her neck or something. I mean, that might not work if she's like flying around and she needs to be tactical. But I think the gold bead in the little tassel here just gets a little lost against her skin. Whereas like these gold pieces on her boots and the harness really stand out because they're on a really dark background. So maybe a gold element, maybe like in her hair, that might help. Or finding some way to darken the area around it. It just gets a little lost, and I think that would help with the balance of things. But otherwise, there's really good contrast between all the elements. I really like the silhouette. I think that's it. She's got some really great shapes going through the whole thing. It's very well thought out. And I felt the same way with Amachi. I do like how you're very consistent with like having a good spread of the colors like throughout the character and having lots of like detailed elements on every piece of them. A common thing I see, and this is something I've been guilty of, is making just like the top half of the character be very detailed and have like all my shapes and colors in it, and then the bottom of the character gets neglected a little bit. I'm not sure why this happens. I guess people just focus around the face area, which makes sense. That's usually what we're seeing in comics and etc. It's rare to see like the bottom half of a character, but I really like how you incorporate the shapes and colors through everything. You do that really, really well. Did you have any questions about Fiona before I move on to the last design? Hello, everybody. There's so many people popping in. Hello, hello. Just a comment related to the combat. Fiona can't actually fly, related to her backstory and why she is mute. She will still develop and learn it as her confidence grows. Oh, I like that. Gotcha. But she has the wings, but she doesn't actually fly. That's interesting. No questions? Awesome. Alright, so I think I misjudged this character, because these guys are all on a team. Okay, you did mention for this one that the colors on the bottom half are still in progress. You're going to incorporate more leg armor, but also show off the hooves. Okay. Because I was going to say, I was like, I feel like the colors aren't as balanced on this one, but if you're still working on the legs, then I won't bother you with that. Okay. Oh, and combat. He feels like a brawler, or like maybe wields a big weapon. Like if it's like long range stuff, I feel like it would be like a big, I don't know, machine gun or something. Or like a big sword, or, you know, whatever it is. Or he just gets in there with his fists. He feels like he's a big tough guy, you know? Okay, for combat you said close range, big hammer. Okay, see, big weapon. Strong and tanky, prefers to fight aggressively. Okay, I can totally see that from the way you have personified him. Personality traits, he's loyal, persistent, and decisive. But he's emotionally closed off and acts before thinking, and he's stubborn. Arnar. Okay. Gotcha. So he's very loyal. He's very tactical, stubborn. I like stubborn and persistent. That is so like two sides of the same coin, right? Where he's getting stuff done, he's pushing through, but can't get him to move on anything. Okay, and then he's emotionally closed off. But it sounds like he can think fast. Interesting. He is also an older character compared to the other two. The other two are in their mid to late teenage years, and then he is a 30-year-old. So I'm assuming he's a bit of a leader or a mentor character. He's a bit of an antagonist in the team, but he's on their side. Gotcha. I really like characters like that. The ones who just like bump heads with people. It creates really good conflict among the characters. So yeah, he definitely feels angry and hot-headed. Again, I think that's the colors and the shapes where he's very, very spiky. And he's very fiery, especially around the face. I really like the color of his hair versus, I guess, his fur. It just really stands out really nicely. And I like how the red, maybe this is just a preference, but I really like how there's like a little bit of pink added into the red of the hair. It just looks really, really nice. It makes it stand out. And it works really well against like the gray brown of the fur. And it also contrasts really well with the cyan from his eyes and the hair tie. I also really, really like the, would you call that like a sideburn? Beard-ish whiskers kind of thing that he's got going on with parts of his hair. I like that. That's just a nice little touch where it, I don't know, it makes him feel like a more mature character, and it just suits him. I like it. There will be 2 more characters to see next critique. Gotcha. Okay, so I think you've got a good start with the colors, and I know you're still working on the lower half of the character. Because I like how you got the gold going through. You've got it going through horizontally, where I like how he's got like the yellow on the arms and then the buttons and the belt buckle. It does need to be spread to the top and the bottom of the character. So whether that's like, I don't know, piercings or clothing pieces, jewelry, accessories, just to bring that yellow into his kind of face area, and then into the legs. But I know you're still working on those. And I do like how the blue / cyan is pulled through. You've got it in the hair tie, the eyes. It's not dulled down, but it's lightened up for the badge, and then it's back in the pants. I think that one works really well. You could bring it into the hands a little bit or the arms, but it could get too cluttered. And then I think you could get away with brightening up this the shirt. I was gonna say chest piece, but the shirt. Where it feels a little too, it definitely feels like it's pulled from the same red that's in the hair and then the little middle part of the badge. But it feels desaturated a little too much, because I think you can go dark. Honestly, I'd lighten it up a little bit so there's more contrast between like the armor pieces and the shirt. But I think right now as it is, it's a little too desaturated. And I think honestly, it really is a contrast issue with the shoulder pieces and the shirt, where they're both just really dark and you kind of miss the details between them. It really doesn't pop. It kind of gets muddy in the middle as compared to like his facial features and then like the bright spots of like his arms and legs. So I'd play around with the colors just to get the contrast up in the middle here, but I like where you're going with the color choices. I was scared of the red taking up all the attention when the characters are together. Gotcha. I can see that. I think you could still keep it dark, but I think you need to add like a little bit more saturation into it. Like just a smidge. I totally know what you mean though. Like red is really strong. Especially so much red. You could also brighten up the red, but cut it with more colors. For example, like you could use the striping that, say, like Fiona has in her design. You could bring striping through it. You could do some color blocking where, like, maybe, I don't know, the top half of the chest is like darker colors, but then like the neck hem is like a lighter red. You can try playing around with that, see if that helps like dampen it so it's not taking as much attention, because I agree, you don't want to like have everything be the bright red of his hair. But maybe just like some parts of it could be brightened up. Yeah, and then, yeah, he's just got these great spiky shapes going through. I do like how he's so wide in the shoulders and then gets narrowed. It does create like a triangle, like a spiky shape in like his whole silhouette. Which is great. Though I do wonder, I feel like his ponytail is a little too tall. It feels like, because he does have like these long spiky bits that like come out from his hair, the shoulders, etc. But I think the ponytail is just like, it's pulling, it goes really wide at the top and really tall, where like the rest is a lot more like compact triangular shapes that are made from like his shoulders, from like his ears and face. There's like an inverted one from the top of his head into his like his hair here, where I think you could, if you blended it into like this triangle, if that makes sense, so like it was more narrow, I think that could work. Or you can keep it as like an inverted triangle, but it needs to be shorter because it's just pulling up too much at the top. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, just looking at all your characters, I think the colors will work really well together. I do like how he has blue pulled in from Fiona's design and then the red from Amachi's design. Kinda. I guess let me know if you have any questions about this one. Do you have any tips for the bottom half? Yeah, you've been struggling with it. Yeah, so I would definitely bring in the yellow somehow. You could do that by, so like he has, it looks like a shirt or something under this red shirt. You could do something similar, like maybe socks. If you want to keep showing the feet, you could do something similar to what you did with Amachi, where there's like holes for the toes or the hooves to point out. If you wanted to bring the yellow in, that might be a bit strong, so you could also cover that with some more armor pieces. You could, I would honestly keep a similar shape to the armbands, where it's like, I it's more broad at the top and then narrows down. I think that would highlight the hooves really well. And then I think you also need to bring the red in. So you could do that. Like, I know there's like, it's a little hard to see because the color's kind of dark, and it's extra hard because it's on a white background in this case. But I know there's like a little, what do you call it? Like embossment detail on the kneecap. You could bring the red into there, whether it's like an outline or it's filled in or painted or something. To bring the red in. You could do the same with like adding little details of gold. Yeah. Yeah, I think adding like a piece of armor would really help because you've got these. You've got these. Because I think it would mimic the armor on his arms. Red and gold nail polish, yes. Where like you have the section for the shoulder and then there's a gap and then there's a piece for the arm. I think you could mimic that where you can have the armor on the kneecap and then a gap and maybe fill that with red or yellow and then having the armor, the dark armor piece that goes on the foot. You can also, I really like, if you look at knight's armor, like full suits, they have, I don't really know what you'd call it. It's like a little arched piece that's on the front of the foot, and it's just so that the front of the foot can like raise and it's easier to walk in. It's not just like a solid piece. So you could bring in something like that, so then, and then not put like the rest of the armored toe around the hooves if you want to keep the hooves out. But that's just a nice way to kind of end off the armor piece, where it's just got like a little hem, I guess, that could be made of metal at the bottom. And then the little hoofies stick out. Was there anything in particular you were really struggling with that I haven't covered about the legs? Got it, thanks, no problem. Thank you for submitting. All right. Chloe, you're up. Also, hi, Charlie. Alright, what did you say? These characters are cool. They are cool. Everyone always submits such cool stuff. Okay, I have 3 cover / promo art concepts for Forlorn Hope. My main concern is the colors and if they make you want to read the comic. On, it's your last Patreon month for a bit. That's valid. Pardon me. Hi, Sicky. Shut up. Thank you for all the compliments. I was too busy taking notes. No problem, no problem. Sorry, Chloe. YouTube really does hate you if it's just playing ads. I did just read what you wrote in your comment. On you're back? Okay. YouTube's after you. But yeah, I did just read what you wrote on Discord. And yeah, we'll miss you in the Patreon side of the Discord, but what happened?
She got scared.
Medical got scared. I had no ads this whole time. The second you start reading, boom. They knew. YouTube knew. But yeah, we'll miss you, but I totally understand. And obviously you'll still be around. I hope. Okay. So 3 covers, promo arts, colors, and if they're enticing. Okay. So, let me see. So I do like the color through line where you've got the green and then you've got some browns going through all of them. And then there's like some little touches of blue, at least in the ones on the sides. The middle one doesn't really have any blue. It's just green and brown. I guess there's a little bit of blue in the lettering, but anyways. Okay. So anyways, that does just mean they all feel related. They all work together. Okay, so we've got this first one where we've got our characters, looks like walking through the streets, showing off their personalities. Second one is the Lance Corporal Captain, doing a silly face. And then we've got our two characters posing. Captain in green and brown. Cupid is blue and brown, hence the no blue in the captain one. Oh, cool. I like that. That's a neat detail. Okay. So I think your first one, I like the inclusion of the setting, because I know it's like UK, like, spy action thriller romance, right? If I'm remembering correctly. So I do like the setting. It feels very British. I think it's just in the street signs. I don't know. I think honestly, if you pulled out a little bit more, I understand the focus, military romance in Helston, Cornwall. Is Helston a real thing? Is that a real place? I know Cornwall is real. Yes? Oh my god, that's amazing. I love it. So, anyways. So, sorry, I keep scrolling in and out. I think you're pulled in a little too close on the characters. Whereas I think for this particular concept, I think there should be more focus on the area around them. So I would pull out a lot more so that we see more of the environment around them, and that should be your main compositional piece. Like you can have, because you have some nice leading lines. Like, I like how you follow these little lanes and streets and stuff, and it really points us into where our characters are standing. And we have like the little what are they called? Like fences. The fence pieces that kind of pull you back in and surround the characters. So I want that, but I want more. I use Google Map to find the street they're on. I love that. That's awesome. I love when people do stuff like that. It makes it feel so, like, I don't know, it's just very, like, niche and cool. But yeah, focus more on the environment and have all your lines kind of lead into where your characters are. I would make them, right now they're taking up, like, most of the composition. They are on kind of like the final third of the composition, which is strong. I think they're in a good spot, but I think they're taking up too much space, like, vertically. I would focus on the environment, make them smaller, and maybe keep them to, like, the lower third, like down in this corner. Actually, if you want to keep your title placement, it could be interesting to have them kind of be like a piece in the upper third. Then you have all your environment stuff. Like maybe you focus more on like what's below them here. And you could kind of like ping pong between the characters and the title as like two interesting focal points, if that makes sense. She's 6 feet 8 inches. She'll always take up a lot of room. Yeah, but like make her smaller still. Even if like he might be tiny compared to her. But yeah, shrink her down. So that proportionally they still look like this, but she's taking up less vertical space. Yeah, because I think...
Like the woman in Powerpuff Girls.
What?
Just make her like the woman in Powerpuff Girls.
Is that the mayor's secretary?
Yeah.
Bone says you have to make her like the mayor's secretary from Powerpuff Girls, where you just see her legs because she's so tall. Shrink her to the size of Cupid currently, or smaller. Yeah, I might even go a little bit smaller, and then like shrink him in proportion, right? They're just together. They're taking up too much of the composition. Whereas like I think if you make them smaller and you really focus on the environment to like bring your attention into them, I think that would be a lot stronger. No, I do the reverse. I show her face only on the top of Cupid's head. I like that. If it's animated, you just see the top of his head like bobbing up and down as he talks. You could also, if you don't want to go that small and you still want focus on the characters, so if you keep your logo where it is, so that's like your lower third, you could make them so they take up like, not quite all, like don't have them touching it, but take up the top 2/3 kind of thing. Because then again, I think you'd get a good balance between your logo and your characters, which are in focus, and then bring it all together with the background. Oh, sorry, Art Boy. We do... If you would like me to look at your artwork, we're doing critiques of our Patreon and YouTube members. So if you join in on that, I could look at your stuff today. If you join and like sneak it in on the Discord. But just so people know, it is through our Patreon members and YouTube members who get their stuff critiqued every month. Discord link? It should be linked down below, I believe. But yeah, you gotta sign up for the critique tier. I was trying to hide their feet, but I'll zoom it out more. That's valid. Show them dogs, you know? Sorry, this is supposed to be a foot neutral stream.
Neutral.
Showing dogs?
Yeah, you're making it not neutral by saying that it's not neutral.
You're right. Neutrally, show them feet. But yeah, I do like the framing of this illustration. I know I've been going on about the composition. But I do like the framing. It shows like character interaction. We can see the height difference between our characters. It makes him look very like uptight, military dude, right? And then she's like imposing and oh my goodness, pardon me. She feels very... I can't think of the word. It's like an archetype. I want to say like a ruffian. That's not right. Like a troublemaker character, you know? Delinquent, that's what it is. She's got like the delinquent, like... Miko! It's okay, she's cleaning her tail. Delinquent. But yeah, she's the Lance Corporal has like a delinquent kind of vibe to her, you know? I think you could play up the character interaction more. I think you could... Because that would entice me, especially if it's a romance. I want to see in like a cover or a preview, I want to see my characters looking romantic. And you don't have to do them like kissing or hugging or anything, but if it's like maybe showing more conflict between the characters, having them pose together more. Should I add an actual street name or just keep it a street name? I mean, the Ursula way is to just keep it a street name, but you could put in a street name. Or you could keep it blank, like make it more abstract so that it's not like pulling attention. Like just do like little lines or rectangles or something. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'd like to see more interaction between the characters to like show that there could be romance between them or show conflict between the characters. I'm sure there's some fun poses you can play around with. Just because this looks like it could just be like a snapshot from like a panel, whereas like for a cover or promo art, I want it to feel a bit more theatrical. I'm doing another one with Captain Carrie Cupid like he's a cat. And one where she uses him as an armrest. I love it. See, that I would click on. That I'd be like, what is this? Show me more. But this one just feels very plain, you know? I want drama. But I do love the colors. I love the concept. I think you just need to push it more. Did you have any questions on this one? I also like the subtle texture you have on the background. That's really nice. The lore in my head is it's his day off, so he tried to go on break from Captain, but she followed him. You could really play that up. You could make it look like he's running the hell away and she's chasing him. You could really play that up. Okay, for the second one, I think this is a great little character promo piece where it shows her delinquent personality. No running on base! Are you able to show him like fast walking? He's like trying really hard to not run. But he's running in his heart. That could be really funny. I will try. You got this. You could do it. But yeah, I think this is a nice character promo thing. Promo art. I think so compositionally I like it. It's good. I think it's nice how, because I always warn people away from doing like putting your subject like right in the middle, but this really works for like a portrait where her face is like in the upper third and the focus is really on her face and then everything just kind of supports around it. So I think that works really well. I like the tilt to her head and the expression. It does create like asymmetry. It's very nice. And then I think the the nakedness. Maybe she's not naked. Maybe she's wearing like a bandeau or something. But I think that'll intrigue people. I like the contrast between her, where she's got like her brown hair and skin, and then the background is all green, and then her green eyes pop. Is she naked? No! Girl, put your clothes on! See, she's a delinquent. I think there could be more contrast. I do like how in the background with like the checkered stuff and all the writing, I do like how dark you went with it, where she's like more mid-tone. And I understand like not wanting to lose that because she does have like kind of darker skin. You don't want to like whitewash her and like make her skin super light, obviously. But I think you might need to go darker. It might mean you need to put like more highlights on her, where we're getting a bit more kind of light colors brought in, without like losing her the color of her skin and hair and stuff. Like you want to keep that, but having later highlights to add more contrast. And then I think you can go even darker with the background colors, like with the green and the black checker. And then she gets more tanned every time I draw her. We love that. Right, and then I do like how you have incorporated the logo and her name into the background. Like, it blends well. Lance Corporal Captain is pretty legible. Forlorn Hope gets a little difficult, just with like having the checkers like stuff cut into it, just because it is like a more complex font versus like the handwritten bit. You could it depends. I think you could go two ways. You could either I would say keep her the most, like, her highlights, and I think that would include like her eyes and mouth and stuff, like the light colors, and then like the light that's like just hitting her person. Keep that as like the lightest bit, and then really darken the background and everything behind her. And I would honestly like boost up the contrast on the logo and the writing. Like, I'd either make it the same level of like brightness as like the highlights and stuff on her face, or like just below, so that it still really stands out and really advertises your comic, but it's not overtaking her as the main subject. The Forlorn Hope in all three were afterthoughts. I forgot about them when making the sketches. Arnar. I mean, I do like how it's like tucked behind her here. I think that's nice. I think you could take her name, like the Lance Corporal Captain. I would just put it up here, you know? Because it creates like a bit of a triangle in the composition. So if we have writing up here, her face is like the second piece, and then I like how there's like detail from like the hope part of the logo. Sorry, forgot the word. And then following it up, it brings you back up, and then like the curve of the checkers kind of brings you back to the writing. You could put another element down here. I'm curious how it would look blank, though. Because it might be like too much detail if it's like every bit is covered in writing. But yeah, play around. I think it just needs the contrast heightened, but it's a really great concept. This one would definitely draw me in. I'd be like, who's this character? What's this thing? Hi, Jackson. Pardon me. All right. Oh, and let me know if you have any questions. Obvi. And for this last one, I think this is a nice pose. It definitely feels like a romance comic. No, that's great. Awesome. It feels like a romance comic or a comedy, drama, whatever. You know, characters interaction. It's just great. I like how he's like rolling his eyes and he's stood all proper and at attention. And then she's like, you know, relaxed, leaned back, looking cool. I think this is a nice character interaction, honestly. It shows the differences between them. There's good like conflict between the characters, and the pose is nice because they make this kind of like, even though he is standing up straight, I do like how there's like a little bit of a bow to his body, and then she has like the same, but you know, they're facing away from each other. My biggest concern with the last one is that if it's all you see, it may be mistaken for BL. Well, it is big lady. No, but I get you, because she is very masculine looking, right? Bone said it's just going to be. That's valid. Yeah, I don't think you can really stop people from mistaking it for BL unless you were to like, how do I say this? Like really make her appear feminine. But other than that, I think people will just make mistakes about it. Oh no! Okay, let me know when you're back. Nar. You're back? Okay. So I'm not sure if you heard this, but Bone said that people will probably mistake it for BL just because you do have a very muscular, masculine looking character. Every damn time, I know! It's so rude. Oh, I'm sorry. There's no Scug today, Jackson. We're reviewing our Patreon and YouTube members' submissions for critique. And if you would like to have your work critiqued, you can join our YouTube channel as a member or our Patreon, link down below at the critique tier for either of those. And every month we do these streams where we can look at your writing, we can look at your art, character design, setting design, scripts, novels, short stories, illustrations, doodles, whatever, and we can give you feedback. I'll make sure to post the second one first so everyone knows. Yes, exactly. But yeah, if you would like to join, you can sign up. I think we're a little too late to do any more this week. Or today. This month, but we do it every month. Anyways, finishing this up. Yeah, so I think unless in this image you really show that she is a woman, and honestly, I think you'd have to show her cleavage or the outline of her boobies, or give her more like feminine signifiers, whatever that means, you know? But otherwise I think people will mistake it as a BL just because of her physique.
Mistake me
Bones was saying people mistake RBL as heterosexual, which is true. People will always make mistakes. You can't really control that. Yeah, put the woman sign on her back. Exactly. Then they'll know. But yeah, like I was saying, I really like the pose. I like the little arcs that's going on in their posture back to back. It creates like an interesting shape that really brings you through the composition. I think, again, it has the same issue as the first one, where they're both just taking up so much vertical space. And you're cramming though you said like you didn't account for the logo when you were doing the sketching. But I think the logo is kind of crammed in the corner. I like how it's placed. I like how their poses and their faces kind of bring you up to the logo. I think you could lean into that, but I think you need to move them down, maybe cut it off at like the mid-thigh. Where again, you could still keep the height difference. You could almost honestly keep them at this size. I think they just need to be like moved down so that we have more room at the top and more breathing room for the logo. And then I would make your logo maybe a bit bigger and take up a bit more space. It's hard to get them both visible. Cupid ends up looking small because he is small. So he looks small. He is a normal man. He is an average human size. She is not. And as for the background, I like your considerate. Shorty at 5'11". That is a normal height. We can't help it that there's a big lady making him look tiny. Anyways, I like the consideration because he's got like the blue as his highlight color. She's got the green as her highlight color. I like the mixing of the blue and the green in the background. I think there's a contrast issue going on where the background is really, it's saturated in a way that's like clashing with the character colors, where the characters have a more kind of like natural tone to the colors. Where the background is like really, really vibrant and really pops. But something about it is clashing for me. Where I think the background colors, I think you could still keep them bright. But I think the saturation needs to be pulled down because it's just pulling too much attention and we're not really seeing the characters who should be our focal point, right? And I think it'll help because I know these are concepts. The background is their eye colors, but they seemed flat, so I added the gradients. Yeah, I think the gradients are fine. I think, yeah, just it needs to be toned down a little bit. And I think because the background is very like, it has gradients, but it's very like pristine shapes, if that makes sense. They don't feel sketchy, but the artwork feels sketchy. I think if you cleaned up the line work, that would help kind of harmonize it. Yeah, and I wonder if you could maybe... Something else that would probably help is like adding some dramatic lighting. I think that would help kind of light the characters and make them stand out a lot against the background. Whether that's like a spotlight from the top or like maybe like two lights coming in, like one hitting her front, one hitting his front, something like that. Goodbye, Jackson. Good luck. The pattern is the square with the circles. Yeah. Yeah, like I like it. It works. I think they just need to be like aligned stylistically more. Yeah, and then once you move them down, the logo can be a bit bigger. I think it'll really work. Yeah. Did you have any questions for that one? So the background was dark at the top and light at the bottom because the characters are meant to be lighter on top but dark at the bottom. I like that a lot. I think you maybe need to mess around with like the contrast, but I like that a lot. I think that's really smart to have the characters like really light on the top, well lit, and then the background behind them is dark and then flipped on the bottom where it's like their lower half is darker and then the background is lighter. I think that just creates really nice contrast. Chloe, I'm posting the request of I'll be smashing a pile of autumn leaves. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, this kind of promo art / cover, I think this really works for like a romance kind of story, or a really character focused story. Yeah. Did you have any questions about any of these? Is there anything I didn't cover? I'm happy to yap more about it. I don't think so. Did you mention if they were enticing? Yeah, a little bit. I think the middle one of the character is enticing. I think it just says a lot about her character, which makes me want to learn more. I was looking at leaf smashing. Valid. I think this one is enticing. It feels very much like a romance, like character-driven, character relationship story. I would definitely click it. It feels like it suits your story. Middle one's great character. This one, I think once you make it more environment focused and maybe like add some drama to the characters, it would feel more enticing. And I think that would help make it stand out more. So hopefully that is helpful and you didn't get hit by ads. That's my vibes. You know. Meow. 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 First one for showing the comics world. The UK, totally not a real place. Yeah, fake place. First one is for showing the comics world. I think that really works. I think that's a good idea. I think especially because you are pulling from like a real place. I think if you chose like kind of an iconic landmark from that place, putting it on that cover, I think would be really cool. People who know it would be like, oh, that's that where I know. I think that would be a smart idea. Or just showing off the environment, I think would also really work, you know? To get a vibe of it. Showing off the comic world. Captain Degency. And then the characters. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good lineup of like promo art. Thank you for the critique. It's been very helpful. Awesome. I'm glad. I think another one, I know you said you had more coming, but another good one would be like a partner. Oh, I don't think you can see my cursor. Like a partner version of this where we see Cupid. Like a close-up of his face in like a similar style. That would be interesting. If you're looking for more ideas. But anyways, thank you for submitting. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. Ursula and Bones, you guys are wholesome and nice. Thanks for doing these critique streams. No problem. Thank you for submitting. Thank you for becoming a member. I have a matching one, but with real squares. Yeah, I think that would really work for him. It would show off that Cupid is a square. Yeah, so that's all we got today. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So thank you everyone who submitted. If you are interested in having your work critiqued, and we can critique like everything, whether it's like a comic script, comic thumbnails, sketches, finished pages, partly finished pages, character design, setting design, logos, covers, illustrations, outlines for your comic, pieces of short stories or novels we can look at. We can look at everything. If you are interested in having me, an artist, and Bones, a writer, look over your stuff, you can join as a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter at the critique tier. And every month we do one of these streams and we can look it over. We do also offer a more one-on-one session for like critique and feedback and mentorship. That is more expensive, but we can also do that if that is something you are interested in, getting more in-depth personal feedback. So yeah, that's my pitch. I guess we'll see you all next month for the next critique, and then we'll see you sooner for our other streams and videos. I'm gonna go. Goodbye.